I was frustrated, I was broken. I couldn't believe that 20 years after having laid down everything I ever wanted to be for Christ, that I felt I had absolutely nothing to show for it. I was done.
Sometimes what we see as the end, God sees as the beginning.
There is a special place that I go to in the woods to write mostly my song lyrics, and I call it my fortress. But this day was very different there. I specifically cursed my gift of songwriting before God. I just wanted the music in my head to stop. I told Him I would never write another song for Him, and that I was going to sell everything I had. And if He didn't want me to do this, then He was going to have to stop me. I went back, a couple days later I took pictures of all my equipment and was going to post it on the internet the following day. I told absolutely no one what I was doing when God intervened.
Our praise band was invited to play at a neighboring church, and there was a guest speaker there that night, and we were just getting ready to close the service, and he was getting ready to pray. And he looks over at Michael in a church of about 150 plus people. And what happened next was almost unbelievable.
I know this may be a little different, but I'm just going to do this, Phil, and it's an instruction from the Lord. Has your worship team ever recorded a CD? Wouldn't you like to? Be phenomenal, wouldn't it? I want you to stand up, brother, stand up. I want everybody to stretch your hand out toward Him. Don't worry, I'm going to pray for the rest of you in a little bit. I want everybody on His team that came tonight to minister to us to stand up. Father, it's really strange, but I really feel led of your Spirit. Sir, have you ever composed songs?
I honestly could not believe what was going on. I never met this man in my entire life. And yet, the very thing that I had cursed before God only 3 days earlier, He was now restoring to me.
But as everyone was praying, Mike asked if he could confess something. And through tears, told us everything he did just 3 days earlier and what his plans were to leave the ministry. And we had no idea. But that night, we received a seed offering of $4,500 to begin that work.
A few days later, we had a band meeting and decided that the money would go to Mike to produce the CD. And it was amazing how God continued to provide throughout this process, even down to our equipment needs. When it came time to record my drums, we didn't have studio microphones, but 2 people stepped forward and donated theirs. You could see God's hand in all of this.
However, midway through the recording process, the band experienced a setback when guitarist Jason A.W.E was deployed on a mission to Kuwait. The band would have to confront what kind of mission it would have when Jason returned.
As a band, we had seen other Christian bands imitating worldly bands and trying to draw attention to themselves through their outfits or the style of hair. And our ultimate goal is to lead others in a worship experience that is just between them and God, and that they can truly encounter Him in an authentic way. And that's when A.W.E. Worship Ministries was born.
It stands for Authentic Worship Experience. It's our heart for what we do, and it's taking a broader look at how we can use worship ministry, not just to encourage the believer, but to reach the lost. It's involving internet ministry, helping struggling worship teams, building up their teams through worship seminars, but most importantly, reaching the lost.
In fact, we've been calling ourselves musicianaries. Musician and missionaries put together. It's more than just touring for the sake of touring. See, what is accomplished when we go from being on stage in New York to being on stage in Chicago and so on? If we come to town, it's a missionary outreach, and we will saturate that mission field at the laundromat, nursing home, and street corner, as well as the concert hall. We minister at a street level and work intimately with that area's churches, who who can receive and disciple anyone who comes to Christ.
One of our most important outreaches is on the issue of abortion. We have testimonies of people in our own band whose lives were spared from abortion. We as a nation have killed nearly 50 million innocent babies since Roe v. Wade. And so as a result, our band put the song together, Curse of Blood, as a confession, just crying out to God because we have turned our backs on Him.
On our website, there's a page that deals with spiritual issues. One of those is abortion. As a matter of fact, the picture on that page is an ultrasound of my son, Elijah. I couldn't have imagined making the decision to terminate him. But that's why we're doing this.
So we were wrestling about this whole thing of how can we take what God has freely given us and sell that to the lost mission field. When in prayer one day, God just cut me with this question that, who are they, your market or your mission? And that's why we've determined never to sell our music whenever that's possible, but rather to stand on Proverbs 23:23, which says, buy the truth, but sell it not.
The A.W.E. Band is here to tell people how Jesus Christ can give them new life and a renewed hope. But we're asking for your help in the following ways. Remember us in prayer. Assist us with bookings and ministry opportunities. Volunteer, be it from the legal, accounting, or PR profession, donating your professional services to protect our business integrity while ministering faithfully. And of course, your financial contributions.
We're here to answer the call that God has put on our hearts and our lives, but we're asking you to help us.